Hello, friends. Today I've come up with one of the interesting stories of Vikram and Betal, and the title of the story is Achievements of Akhil. And here goes the story. On the request by the sage, our brave king Vikram goes to the cremation ground and finds the tamarind tree on which the corpse was hanging upside down. Then he cut it loose, and as soon as the corpse fell to the ground, it laughed loudly with a cackling sound. That's when the king realized that it was a ghost. But the courageous king carried the body over his shoulders and started towards his capital. Who are you? He asked the ghost. I am Betal, replied the ghost, and in turn asked Vikram, why and where are you taking me away? A sage has requested me to bring you to him, replied Vikram. Betal did not have any objection to going with Vikram, but he laid down a condition. We have to cover a long distance, and to relieve the tedious walk, I will tell you a story, but you should not utter even one word till we reach the destination. If by any chance you utter anything, I will fly back to the tamarind tree. Do you agree to this? Asked Betal. Vikram agreed to this and silently listened to the Betal's story. The tale the vampire narrated was as follows. Hansapur was a remote village bordered by hills, and the people were an uneducated lot who made their living through agriculture. They raised unconventional crops which were not to be found anywhere else in the kingdom. They attributed this to their good health, to the use of unusual herbs, roots, and berries in their diet. Akhil was the one person in the village who was not at all interested in agriculture. As a child, he had been taught to read by the priest of the village temple. His hobby was deciphering the ancient palm leaf manuscript preserved in the temple. As a youth, he was a thinker who disliked the automaton like lifestyle of the villagers. He would say, there is more to life than food. If man lives only to eat, what is the difference between us and animals? But they could not appreciate the argument and dismissed him as a lazy and a work shirker. Gradually, Akhil was aware that he had become the laughing stock of the entire village. Unable to endure it any longer, he told his father that he was leaving the village. His father brushed aside the matter, saying, going away from the village is not going to help you, son. What you need is a change in your own attitude. But Akhil retorted, this is a village of mediocre people. I have no desire to remain here and become one like them. I have decided to join the Gurukul run by the famous scholar Bhujang in the Dandaka forest. I will study further and expand my horizons. Then I shall come back and change the face of this village. The very people who have been deriding me will treat me with honor and respect. Then he left the village and started walking in the direction of the Dandaka forest. A 4-day journey brought him to the forest. Suddenly, a chariot overtook him and stopped. On learning that he was on his way to Bhujang's Gurukul, the charioteer offered him a lift as he was also going there. Apparently, he was a royal charioteer sent by the king to bring Bhujang urgently to the capital. On reaching the Gurukul, Akhil sought out the Guru, bowed to him, and informed him of the purpose of his visit. The Guru said, one of my students, Vinay, is running a Gurukul in Jambu forest. Anyone who wishes to study under me has first to complete a 2-year course with him. So you first finish a course of study there and then come back to me. Gurudev, if you have any doubt about my caliber, I have a suggestion to make. Please subject me to any kind of test as you like. I will prove my ability. But please don't send me away arbitrarily without testing me, begged Akhil. Moved by his entreaty, the Guru said, very well. I am leaving for the capital right now. It will take me a week to return. Meanwhile, I shall leave these 2 books with you. Stay back and study them thoroughly. When I shall return, I will question you about them. If I find that you have understood their essence, I shall take you on as my student. Otherwise, you will have to go to Vinay. He then handed over two palm leaf manuscripts to Akhil before leaving for the capital. After he had gone, the other students in the Gurukul approached Akhil and said, "We have been studying these very books under the Guru's guidance for the last 2 years. Still, we haven't been able to grasp their content. So, how can you understand them in just 1 week? It's an impossible task that you have taken on." But their warning failed to dampen Akhil's enthusiasm. Undeterred, he declared, "I shall take it up as a challenge to prove my worth." Then he set to work to study the manuscripts. After 4 days of study, he managed to grasp the essence of the books and summarize them in an essay. He then showed his essay to other students, but they did not bother to go through it. Instead, they took his confidence for arrogance and made fun of him. But Akhil calmly said, "Your mockery does not hurt me. I am used to being laughed at. In fact, your attitude is quite similar to that of the people of my village. The only difference is that you are educated fools while they are uneducated fools." At the end of the week, Guru Bhujang returned from the capital. Akhil met him and gave him his essay. On reading it, the Guru was surprised and delighted. He exclaimed, "Son, you are great indeed. These works are so obscure that even scholars are struggling to find their meaning. But you have grasped their essence and summarized it so lucidly. I shall be honored to have you as my student." "Gurudev, are you really serious or are you making fun of me?" asked Akhil doubtfully. "Making fun of you? Not at all. I am very earnest," the Guru assured him. He then told him of all that had been transpired in the capital during the previous week. The king's mother, who has been beset by an unusual disease. None of the eminent physicians in the kingdom had come across anything like it. All the medicines they prescribed had failed to cure her. Finally, one of the court poets had produced an obscure manuscript of a poem, which had been with his family for generations. The heroine in the poem was described as having been afflicted by an ailment whose symptoms resembled those of the disease that had struck the king's mother. The treatment for the disease, a mixture of rare herbs, was also described in the poem, but the description was couched in such obscure language that the physicians could make no sense of. Then the king had remembered Bhujang and hoped that, being a celebrated scholar, he perhaps would be able to decipher it. That is why the king had summoned him. But Bhujang, too, had been unable to understand it. So he had asked the king's permission to study the manuscript in detail for a week and had brought it with him. Now, seeing Akhil's acumen, he passed it on to him, asking him to read it and see if he could make something out of it. Akhil went through the passage carefully. Then he pointed to one word in the text and said, "Gurudev, this word has two meanings. Most people tend to take only the first meaning, as the second one is obscure and known only to language scholars. But in this context, I think it is the second meaning that makes sense." The Guru read through the indicated passage and realized that Akhil was right. The text did indeed make sense now when he used the word in its less known sense. "Well done, Akhil," he complimented. "But there is another problem. Where will we go for all these herbs? To the best of my knowledge, most of them are not being grown anywhere in this kingdom." "That's not a problem, Gurudev," said Akhil, beaming. "The people of my village specialize in raising rare herbs. All these herbs mentioned in the book can be found in my village." The very next day, Bhujang led Akhil to the king. He was very happy to hear Akhil's news. He sent his men to Hansapur to collect these necessary herbs. The medicine was prepared under Akhil's supervision and administered to the king's mother. In no time, she looked hale and hearty. The grateful king honored Akil at a public function and gave him a handsome reward. Akil returned to Bhujang's Gurukul, where he spent the next 2 years studying the scriptures. Finally, he went back to Hansapur. By then, he had become famous all over the kingdom as a great scholar. But the people of Hansapur refused to acknowledge that he had done anything noteworthy. They commented, "You haven't changed at all. It is just your good luck that has brought you name and fame." Akil settled down to his old lifestyle in Hansapur. As before, the people of the village continued to mock at him, but he was not disheartened. He soon started his own Gurukul, where he enrolled the children of the village and taught them the things he had learned. Concluding the story at this point, the vampire demanded, "O king, Akil left Hansapur because he was unable to tolerate the mockery and intolerant attitude of the villagers. Why then did he go back to the same place and stay on there despite the fact that the villagers continued to mock at him? Was it because his experiences had hardened his mind and given him more courage? Or he had gone away swearing to change the face of the village on his return? Why then did he change his own attitude instead? If you know the answer to my question, speak out. Otherwise, your head shall shatter into smithereens." Without hesitation, King replied, "When one is subjected to constant criticism, he loses his self-esteem and begins to doubt his own worth. This was what happened to Akil in the beginning. The mockery of the people of his village angered him so much that he decided to leave. But when his talent was recognized and praised by illustrious people like Guru Bhujang and the king, his self-confidence was boosted. Thereafter, he regarded the people of his village not so much with anger, but as with pity. He returned to the village with the hope of changing the mindset of the people, but he soon realized that this was an illusion. The people would never change, but children are easier to teach and less resistant to change than adults. So he worked to bring about a change in Hansapur through its future citizens, the children. Thus, he proved himself to be a wise and mature person. On hearing this, the vampire nodded in approval and before going off into peals of thunderous laughter. The next moment, the ghost moved off the king's shoulder with a jerk and flew back to the tamarind tree. King Vikram gave a little sigh as he gazed upon the scene. Then he started to retrace his path and moving towards the tamarind tree. The end of the story. Thank you.